What's going on YouTube? Josh here, and today we have a 1-year review of these babies right here, my NEUMANN NDH 30s. Let me get the money shot again like I did on the last video. I actually had a 1-year review planned for these, and then someone left a comment on one of my previous videos about, hey, I'm interested in buying a pair of these. Do you still recommend them after a little over a year later? And to answer your question really quickly, absolutely. If there was a house fire, these would be the first thing I would grab, and then I would grab my Gibson Les Paul and probably my wife. Yeah, I would grab my wife. But these things are absolutely amazing. Having said that, I do have some pros and cons after using them for a year. First thing I'll say, we'll start out with the pros. My mixes got so much better with these things because they are so flat and transparent, and I think they go down to 12 hertz. These go to 12 hertz and way past 20K. So you have plenty of frequency range to mix and master. These are seriously attached to my interface 24/7. I have the Kali Audio Ion 8 second waves, and before this I was reviewing the Atom Audio A7Vs, the newer ones. I still would go for these to finalize my mixes because by now I'm just really used to them. It's been a year, I'm just really used to the way they sound, but I truly do not dread the card test anymore with these things. I know when I listen to my mix with these, I don't use any correction software either. I just use them straight out of my interface, out of my DAW. I know that I'm going to get a proper representation out of these things. That's how much I trust them, and I get a lot less revisions from my client work, my mixes and my masters. When I bought these, I started to get a lot less revisions and even less now that I'm really used to them. They are on the pricey side. They're still at $650 bucks, but you get what you paid for in this case, and I don't think you're overpaying. I actually think you get really good value for money on these things. Cons. Let's hop to the cons. This is not going to be a very long video. The only con that I can think of, well, there are two cons. I had mentioned this in the first video also. It only comes with one cable that I think is about 10 or 15 feet. It's not a coil cable, it's just a regular one. It's right here. It's still plugged into my computer. I wish they would give you like a 3-footer or a 3.5-footer, something a little more manageable than that thing. That's a nitpicky con, I know that. Another con is part of the pro. They're open back. If you're trying to mix, master, produce, whatever through these, if you're sitting on the couch and someone's sitting next to you, you're going to bother them. If you're trying to track vocals or acoustic guitar with a microphone in the room, you're not going to be able to use these. They bleed that bad. When I first got these, my wife looked at me like I was crazy because she thought they were cranked to the extreme. She didn't know that they were open backs. They weren't cranked to the extreme. I was just listening at a regular...
I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume.
That's kind of the only con. So if you want to buy a pair of these for mixing, mastering, producing, they're super comfortable. I love these cups. They're amazing. They're easy to take off and replace. If you guys want to pick up a pair, if you could do me a favor, check out the Zounds affiliate link down below. You can get a set of these with no credit check, and they can give them to you for a simple payment. Make one payment, they'll mail them to you, and you can just pay it off as you go. If you're someone who is looking to maybe take that next step with your mixes and your masters, or if you're someone who produces your own music a lot of the time and you really want to not have to second guess your mix, or maybe if you're making a little bit of money with this thing, it's worth the $650. I would rather spend $650 on these headphones than $500 on a pair of main monitors. That's no BS. That's seriously how I feel about it, because you have to think, if you get these, you're taking away the biggest mixing equation, right? The room that you're in. These don't care what room you're in. They're going to sound exactly the same wherever you go, whatever room you're in. So I always recommend, if you really want to spend a decent amount of money on a pair of headphones you know you're going to have for a long time and you're going to use a lot, if you're going to use them a lot, go ahead and spend the extra money and get these. They're absolutely worth it. So that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully this helped you guys out if you are thinking about purchasing a pair of these. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I respond to everything and I read everything that I get. And remember, it's called music theory, not music fact. Have a good one.